Hi, everybody. Thank you everybody for participating in the Canelo versus Triple G2 Trainers International Media Conference call today. Well, we're weeks away from being live in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena for September 15th action for the highly anticipated rematch between lineal middleweight champ Canelo Alvarez versus WBC, WBA, and Hbo middleweight champ world champion Gennady Triple G Golovkin. This epic event will be produced and distributed live by HBO Ppv, beginning at a special time we have at 8 p.m. Eastern at 5 p.m. Pacific. The Nevada State Athletic Commission has selected the judges. I'll give you the list of the names. It's Dave Moretti, Steve Weisfield, Glenn Feldman, and Benji Estefes as the referee. Well, guys, we have a mega event. Any mega event is not complete with a mega undercard, and we have it for you guys for this fight. The stacked undercard will feature breakout Mexican star Jaime Munguia, and he will make his second defense of his WBO junior middleweight world title against the rugged Canadian Brandon Cook. We also have another great fight on the card. Former IBF middleweight world champion David Lemieux from Montreal, Canada, will face Irish warrior Gary Spike O'Sullivan from Cork, Ireland. They will go head-to-head for a 12-round middleweight war. Also, great opening fight, opening up the HBO Ppv telecast, former pound-for-pound king and former four-division world champion Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez from Nicaragua will make his highly anticipated return against experienced Mexican warrior Moses Fuentes in a 10-round super flyweight battle. For those of you who still like to attend this epic event live, there's still a limited number of tickets available. You must come out to Vegas to check out this fight. You can buy your tickets online at www.tmobilearena.com or www.access.com. We also have closed circuit tickets available. And come out. These fight fans can watch from the MGM Grand, the Mandalay Bay, the Mirage, and the Luxor. We'll also have a very exciting, we'll be hosting the first ever public workout at the home of LA's newest soccer club, LAFC, at the Bank of California Stadium in downtown Los Angeles. The event is set for this Sunday, August 26th. Doors open to the public at 2 p.m. Fighters will start working out at 3 p.m. Come to this event. It's open to the public, and it's going to be really, really spectacular. Media must RSVP by 5 p.m. Last but not least, I'd like to thank our sponsors. Tecate, the official beer of boxing, Hennessy, Never Stop, Never Settle, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, Fred Lawyer Insurance, Interjet, Venom, Fathom Events. Without the sponsors' continued support, big events like this couldn't happen. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Tom Loeffler, Gennady Golovkin's promoter. Tom?
Hey, Robert. It's great. That was a great introduction. I'm still at the Las Vegas airport after this, after the officials have been selected, as you mentioned. It's, this is just a tremendous, not only a tremendous main event, but a tremendous undercard. All these great warriors on the same show. Triple G's training very hard up in Big Bear, California with Abel Sanchez. He doesn't want to leave it in the judges' hands this time. I know Canelo's predicting a knockout. Literally, the gloves are off for this promotion. So, without further ado, I just wanted to introduce who we think is the best trainer in boxing. He's the reason behind Triple G's Mexican style that's gained him so many fans around the world. I want to introduce Abel Sanchez all the way from the Summit Gym in Big Bear, California.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you to everybody that's on. Appreciate the call. We are training hard, like Tom said. Look forward to this conference call and answering a lot of questions that I needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Abel. Now I'd like to introduce the man behind the machine, Jose Chepo Reynoso. Chepo?
¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Buenos días. Aquí listos nosotros, cada día acercándonos más al punto óptimo que vamos a lograr para esta gran pelea y bueno, ya para declararnos listos para el día 15 de septiembre, poner las cosas en su lugar sin tanto hablar.
Good morning. How are you to everybody? We're ready. Every day we're getting closer to this big event, and to put everything in its place after all that's been talked about.
Thank you, Chepo. Thanks, Gabe. Now, I'd like to introduce to another important cornerman who has been with Canelo's team since the fighter was a teenager. I'd like to introduce to you Eddie Reynoso. Eddie?
¿Qué tal? Buenos días. Saludos.
Good morning. How everyone's doing, and salutations.
Perfect. Thank you, Eddie. We will now open it up for questions from the media. If your question is in English, please allow for us to translate into Spanish for Chepo and Eddie. If your question is in Spanish, please allow for us to translate into English for the course participants. We also will be translating Chepo and Eddie's answers into English. Questions?
Thank you. We will now begin the question and answer session. If you have a question, please press star, then the number 1 on your touch-tone phone. If you are using a speakerphone, you may need to pick up your handset first before pressing any numbers. Once again, if you have a question, please press star, then 1 on your touch-tone phone. Standing by for questions.
Any
Our first
questions?
question comes from Bernard Fernandez from the Sweet Science. Bernard, your line is open.
Yeah, there seems to be a certain amount of personal hostility between the two camps with insults. A lot of it has to do with the two drug tests that Canelo failed. But it also seems to have filtered down to the trainers. If this anger is real, how does it translate to how the fight is fought? Sometimes I think it probably could be a good thing for a fighter. Sometimes maybe not. So I'd like to ask both participants whether this rancor between the two camps will actually have an effect on the fight.
So I will translate the question first, and then Abel can answer, and then we'll have Team Canelo answer. Basically, there seems to be a lot of personal hostility. Hay mucha hostilidad personal entre ambos entrenadores. Obviamente fue debido a la prueba positiva que dio Canelo Álvarez, pero también entre los entrenadores hay como una hostilidad. ¿Qué tan importante o significante es esta hostilidad entre los entrenadores? Y si tiene algún efecto en el plan de la pelea.
First of all, there has been no insults from our side. I have not insulted them in no way, shape, or form. What I've said has been facts. I may have stated an opinion as far as me saying that he ran, but everything else is a fact. He tested positive. He is not the champion. Gennady Golovkin is the champion, was the champion going in, was the champion coming out. So everything that I've said is in the truth. If I'm lying about what I said, then I need to be explained to me. But I have not insulted anybody. They've been the ones to be insulted.
La respuesta de Abel fue que no ha habido insultos de nuestra parte. Lo que he dicho son las realidades, son los hechos. Tal vez di mi opinión cuando dije que estuve corriendo, pero lo demás fue las realidades, que dio positivo y fue nomás eso. Eddie o Chepo, por favor. La misma pregunta, si hay hostilidad o si ha habido insultos entre los entrenadores.
No, para nada, no debe de haber ningún insulto. Al final uno se pone uno sube a pelear. Estamos tranquilos, estamos trabajando y pues yo creo que los argüendes y todo eso pues van a otro lado. No hay nada.
No, there's been no insults on our side. At the end of the day, we're not the ones who are going to be fighting, so we're relaxed, we're working hard, and there's no negativity on our end. And if we receive anything, we take it somewhere else.
Bueno, yo creo que en el equipo del Canelo siempre hemos tenido el respeto por todos los rivales y por los equipos, y esta vez no ha sido la excepción. Solamente que a veces sí haberla calentado los ánimos con declaraciones y todo eso de que corrió el Saúl y todo. Yo quiero decir que un peleador no puede correr dentro de un ring, hace una pelea y corren las pistas, pero el ring, el cuadrilátero lo hacen exactamente para con ciertas medidas para que tú demuestres tu calidad, y esa noche Saúl, tienen que reconocer, demostró una excelente calidad, un excelente juego de cintura, defensa y todo eso, le mojó la pólvora a Gennady, y a lo mejor esa ha sido la causa de que Abel ahora quiere calentar más el ambiente, pero no, nosotros estamos tranquilos, sabemos lo que tenemos, sabemos lo que vamos a hacer, y seguramente el día 15 de septiembre pues no vamos a ocupar ni jueces ni nada para demostrar quién es quién.
Team Canelo has always been respectful and with all opponents and all teams. This time has not been an exception. It's been Abel who has heated things up with his statements regarding Canelo and that he runs. But a fighter can't run in the ring. You run on the racetrack. In the fight, you can't run. Maybe he moved a little bit, showed some movements just to show his quality as a fighter. But I think that he moved really well, he moved necessary, and he may have put a little water in the gunpowder of Golovkin, and that's why he wants to heat things up, because he showed his quality as a fighter. So we're relaxed, we know what we have to do, and we haven't been doing any insults.
Our next question comes from Gordon Marino from HBO Inside Boxing. Gordon, your line is open.
Thanks very much. This is a question for Mr. Sanchez, and thanks for taking time to answer it. It seemed to me that Canelo is one of his most effective punches, his counter right hand and the uppercut. And I thought Gennady was backing straight up and not able to counter that very well. Do you think he could improve that in this fight? Improve his counter to the uppercut and right hand?
First of all, Canelo's got a lot more than the right hand and uppercut. He's an excellent fighter, but in the first fight, he was able to land those, and of course we've reviewed the fight. We've gone over the fight. We hope that we can do a better job, but I'm sure Canelo's going to try to, and Canelo and Chepo and Eddie are going to try to counter anything that we do also. But it's a good fight between two very good fighters. Hopefully we can get the fight that the fans expect. But yeah, of course we worked on that.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Our next question comes from Jeremy Herges from Fansided. Jeremy, your line is open.
This question goes out to both Abel and Jose. As far as the last fight goes, how much film study has been done by you of the last fight? How many times have you seen it? And also in planning for the fight, who's primarily responsible for the strategy? Is it the trainer, is it the fighter, or is it a mixture of both?
Primero la pregunta y después que conteste Abel Sánchez. La pregunta es, ¿cuánto has estudiado el estilo de Golovkin en videos? ¿Cuántas veces has visto la primera pelea? ¿Y quién es responsable para la estrategia de la pelea? ¿Será el peleador o el entrenador? ¿Quién se encarga del plan de pelea?
Well, first of all, we've watched it twice, once on tape and once live. We can work as coaches, we can work on a strategy, we can work on a lot of things that we want to do in the fight. But when the fight presents itself, depending on how the opposition is fighting the fight, things can change. We try to have A, B, and C plans available. We work on everything in the gym just in case. But when the fight starts, the fighters, at least my fighters anyway, they're going to do what they feel is best at that particular moment. We've worked on all the aspects, and hopefully they can implement what we worked on.
La respuesta de Abel Sánchez que hemos estudiado la pelea 2 veces, por video y en vivo el año pasado. Cuando estamos en una pelea, no nos basamos solamente en el plan de pelea, sino también en lo que el oponente trae al cuadrilátero. Y yo sé que mis peleadores, ellos tienen que ver qué es lo que está pasando en el ring y hacer un plan de pelea en base de eso, en base de lo que el oponente está haciendo.
Our next question comes from Keith Idek from BoxingScene.com. Keith, your line is open.
Yes, my question is for Abel. Abel, I was just wondering if you're aware of the blog post that Canelo put up on HBO.com this morning.
La pregunta es para Abel si está al tanto de lo que Canelo ha dicho en un post de Canelo.
Actually, I am not. Tell me about it.
Now, this is Canelo saying this, obviously, Abel, so please don't take offense. He said that you don't know boxing, that you don't know boxing, and the word dumbass was in the blog post. So he was very critical. He was critical of you saying that that he ran in the first, that he did a lot of running in the first fight. Can you respond to that?
Sí, básicamente el periodista está diciendo que, hablando sobre las declaraciones de Canelo, y básicamente lo que dijo Canelo es que Abel Sánchez, en sus palabras, es un pendejo que no sabe del boxeo, que no sabe el boxeo, y ahorita le está preguntando a Abel qué contesta.
Well, Keith, I go back to what I said on the previous answer. The insults have not come from my side. The insults have come from them, and it's an obvious insult to me. They're the ones that are lowering themselves to doing that way. Have I gotten into his head to be able to respond to me like that? There's no reason for it, but that's the character that I've been talking about, the man.
Los insultos no han venido de nuestra parte. Ellos se están bajando a ese nivel. No hay razón para estar dando insultos.
Abel, do you feel that you've gotten into his head at this point from the way he's responding?
Well, I feel that he's responding. Just by responding means that he's reading these things and it's affecting him. My reason for saying the things that I said is because they're facts. Like I said at the beginning of another question, tell me where I'm lying. Other than my opinion about his running, tell me where I'm lying. Did he not test positive? Did he not cancel our fight? Did he not cause an uproar with fans and with tickets and with reservations? Because those are consequences from what he did, not what we did. So there's no reason for me to be insulting anybody. They're the ones that are lowering themselves to that level.
Is he going to, Gabe, you're going to translate that?
Sí, es que son básicamente ellos que están bajándose a ese nivel, estar tirando insultos. No ha salido de nuestra parte, de Abel Sanchez o de Team Golovkin. Son ellos que están tirando los insultos.
I just have one more question for you, Abel. Earlier, the commission meeting was, took place, and obviously Tom voiced his objection to Tony Weeks being the referee for the fight, and he explained part of that was, some of the things that you were concerned about Tony Weeks being the referee. Can you explain why you thought he might not be the referee for the fight?
Sí, obviamente Tom Laffer estuvo con la comisión. Tom Laffer estuvo con la comisión en la mañana y no estaba de acuerdo de que Tony Weeks sea el referee de la pelea, y le está preguntando a Abel si está de acuerdo con Tony Weeks.
Well, first of all, we had been told there was going to be Kenny Bayless, and we had agreed to Kenny Bayless doing it again. When the name Tony Weeks came up, I had several other fighters with him, and I felt he didn't do a proper job. I felt that in one of the fights in the dressing room, while he's giving the instructions, I felt that how he addressed a question of mine was very irresponsible and insulting. So I thought I had a problem with that, and there's a lot of other great referees in this world, and I felt that he wasn't qualified, in my opinion, to do this kind of fight.
Anteriormente les habían dicho que iba a ser Kenny Bayless, no Tony Weeks, y y pensamos que no hizo buen trabajo. No estábamos de acuerdo de eso, pero que no hizo un buen plan en su última trabajo como referee.
Abel, which fight was it that you took issue with what he said to you?
It was a fight at Shepard versus a young man named got the Shafakov fight at the Cosmo Hard Rock last year.
It was Shafakov versus Alvarado last December.
Right.
Okay, great. Thanks for your time, Abel.
Thank you.
Once again, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star then 1 on your touch-tone phone. Our next question comes from T.C. Martin from Fox Sports Las Vegas. T.C., your line is open.
Thank you. This goes to both camps. Maybe start with you, Abel. What was the biggest takeaway from the first fight for each of you guys regarding your opponent, and whether it was something surprising or expected in that first fight?
La pregunta para ambos entrenadores, ¿qué es lo que sacaste de la primera pelea? ¿Qué es lo que aprendiste? ¿Y qué es lo que te sorprendió de la primera pelea contra Golovkin?
Well, first of all, I was surprised that he moved as much as he did. He fought 40-some fights in one manner and promised the fans a certain kind of fight. I think the fans expected. I think that's why the fans paid for the fight. We knew that he was an excellent fighter. Other than the moving, nothing surprising. I knew that he was going to be there. I knew that, of course, before the fight, I'm talking about knocking him out. That's just talk to not only pump up the fight, but hopefully to get the kind of fight that we deserve.
Nada me sorprendió de la última pelea con Canelo. Sabíamos que era un buen peleador. Lo que sí me sorprendió es que se movió mucho después de 40 peleas. No esperaba eso, pero nada me sorprendió de la pelea. Y la misma pregunta para Eddie y Chepo, ¿qué es lo que te sorprendió de la pelea y qué es lo que aprendiste de esa primera pelea con Golovkin?
No, pues no nos sorprendió nada, es el mismo peleador de siempre, que solo va para adelante tirando golpes. Pues lo que aprendimos de la pelea se va a ver el 15 de septiembre, lo que aprendimos de esa pelea.
No, well, we didn't really learn anything from the first fight. Nothing surprised us from that first fight. He's the same fighter as always. He comes forward and he throws a lot of punches. What we did learn, well, that's what we'll show in that fight, in the rematch this September.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Bueno, la verdad de Golovkin pues no es nada para sorprender. Es el mismo peleador que conocimos en el 2011 allá en Big Bear. Un muchacho muy voluntarioso, fuerte, bien preparado, pero que la verdad no ninguna novedad. Y si él sorprendió que Saúl se movía mucho, bueno, pues es un peleador completo y el próximo 15 de septiembre van a ver todavía más.
Nothing, this is from Chepo, the first one was from Eddie. Nothing really surprised us from Golovkin in the first fight. We met him in 2011 in Big Bear, and he's a strong, well-prepared fighter that we've known for a long time, so there was nothing new. And if Abel feels that he was surprised that Canelo moved a lot, well, that's because he's a complete fighter. And we're going to show that on September 15th.
Our next question comes from Daniel Olea from Zona Deportiva. Daniel, your line is open.
Sí, buenas tardes. Mi primer pregunta sería para Abel Sánchez. Abel, en dado caso de que Gennady perdiese la pelea y después de todos los resultados salieran negativos, que Canelo no usó ninguna sustancia prohibida en esta pelea, ¿aceptarías tú dar una disculpa tanto a Canelo como al equipo para esta pelea?
The question was for Abel Sanchez, you know, after everything that's happened, after all the tests that show that, you know, Canelo didn't do anything bad or negative in this fight, would you accept an apology from either Canelo or his team?
I think he's asking me if I would apologize to them. And my answer to that is no, I would not apologize. He tested positive. What would I apologize for someone that tested positive? That he's not tested positive since then, I have not said anything about since then. It's the consequences that have resulted for us and for the team and for boxing from his carelessness. So, no, I wouldn't apologize to him.
Sí, no, no le voy a pedir disculpas, son ellos que tienen que pedir disculpas, porque ellos fueron los que dieron positivo en sus exámenes. Ellos son los que tienen que pedir disculpas.
Y mi segunda y última pregunta es para el equipo de los Reynoso. Para ustedes como equipo, ¿qué es más importante demostrar? ¿Que Canelo es un peleador limpio o que simplemente es mejor que Gennady Golovkin?
The question for Eddie and Chepo Reynoso, how important is it to show that not only is, Canelo a complete fighter, but that he's a clean fighter. Eddie Chepo, por favor.
No, yo creo que no hay nada que demostrar. No hay nada que demostrar. La carrera de Saúl siempre ha sido limpia, así lo demostró en la investigación que le hicieron en Nevada. Entonces no tenemos nada que demostrar. Lo que tenemos que demostrar es ganar pelea tras pelea, ganar a Golovkin y ganar a los que sigan.
There's nothing to show. Canelo's career has always been clean, and it showed that in the investigation. So there's nothing to show. All we have to show is each fight, taking it one by one, starting with Golovkin. But there's nothing to show.
Our next question comes from Stephen Mullenhausen from SportingNews.com. Stephen, your line is open.
Thank you. Is Tom still on the line? Tom Lockwood?
No, Tom had to, his plane just took off.
Oh, okay. Then this question, then I'll have a question to Abel. Abel, just considering, and I asked Canelo this last week, and I want to ask you the same thing. He said that he will not, after the fight, he will not shake Gennady Golovkin's hand. He will not accept any apologies for the comments that you and Gennady have made in the lead up to this fight. After the fight, will you go up to Canelo's camp and will you shake his hand regardless of win, lose, and draw and say a good fight and wish them congratulations and things like that?
Well, I will make an effort. That's what adults do. Children act like he's acting now. So, of course, I will make an effort to try to do it. If he doesn't want it, that's okay. That's the child in him.
And I'll follow up on that real quickly. And, there is a lot, I can feel the hostility in your voice, and you can see it when anytime you hear Gennady talk. Is this the most vitriol that has come from you and from Gennady and any of Gennady's past opponents?
I would say if there is a reason, the reason would be because they're trying to sweep it under the rug like nothing happened. Look, we're not idiots. The fans are not idiots. Something happened. Yes, he was cleared by the Nevada Commission, but something did happen. That there's consequences from that. We're still feeling the consequences from that. So that there's a little, that we're a little mad about it. Of course we're a little mad about it. We have to go on and we have to fight the 15th. But the fact of the matter is, those things did happen. We cannot sweep it under the rug. He did test positive, regardless for whatever reason he seems to claim. But the fact is, he did.
How do you let emotion, Abel, not get in the way of what needs to be done on September 15th?
Emotions will never get in the way. Emotions get in the way when questions are asked. Once they step to the ropes, once we're in the dressing room, all those things are not going to be asked. All those things are in the back burner. We are concentrating on what's in the task at hand. Gennady's a professional, as Canelo is, and I'm sure that when they step to the ropes, it'll be about that fight. Those other thoughts and those other questions will not be on the mind, as they will not be on mine either. I got a job to do that night, and I'm going to do it regardless of what happened in the past. But when those questions are asked, it's difficult to act like it never happened.
Thank you, guys, and the best of luck September 15th.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Salvador Rodriguez from ESPN Deportes. Salvador, your line is open.
Saludos a todos por allá, saludos a Abel, a Eddie, a Chepo, a todos en la línea. Primero me gustaría preguntarles si este 15 de septiembre vamos a ver lo mejor de Gennady Golovkin y de Canelo Álvarez. Me refiero a ya están en un punto en donde es difícil mostrar muchas cosas mejores. Vamos a ver el punto máximo en la carrera de Golovkin y de Saúl Álvarez esta semana, y después tengo otra pregunta.
The question from Chava, his first question is for both trainers. The question is, on September 15th, will we see the very best of Triple G and Canelo? Obviously, at this point in their careers, it's difficult to show new things and to show, new parts of their plans and who they are as fighters. But will we see the very best of Triple G and Canelo this September 15th? First, you, Abel, please.
I think that great fighters bring out the best in other great fighters. I think that the fans are expecting a great fight, as they expected the first time. Golovkin will do his best to make that. Hopefully Canelo comes prepared to do the same thing.
Los mejores peleadores siempre sacan lo mejor de sus oponentes y espero que Canelo haga lo mismo en su pelea con Golovkin. La misma pregunta para Don Chepo y Eri, por favor.
Mira, yo creo que lo mejor de Saúl está por venir. Hay que recordar que es su segunda pelea en la categoría de los medianos y está su cuerpo en un proceso de acondicionamiento ya a esta nueva categoría. Entonces yo creo que todavía lo mejor está por venir, pero ese día 15 de septiembre va a ser una fecha muy importante porque va a demostrar que va a acabar con el mito y con el invicto de un peleador a mi juicio ordinario como es Golovkin.
But the best of Canelo is yet to come. Obviously, this is his second fight at 160 pounds, you know. His body is still processing. He's still getting conditioned at this new weight. So I maintain that the best is yet to come. On September 15, you will see a better Canelo, and you will see him end with the myth and with the undisputed streak of that very basic fighter, Gennady Golovkin.
Y segundo, como mexicanos, hace tiempo que se viene diciendo que no hay buenos entrenadores en México y hoy vemos lo contrario con todos ustedes estando en la esquina o siendo entrenadores de la pelea quizá más importante del año. Como mexicanos, ¿cómo los hace sentirse eso de estar representando de alguna forma al boxeo de México?
The question is for both. Some people may say that there aren't any good fighters that are coming from Mexico, but in this very big fight, we have an important Mexican fighter on the card. And how does it feel to be representing Mexico in this card, both as cornerman and in the ring?
Well, first of all, I think that there's a lot of great coaches in Mexico, other than these two that are going to be, or these three that are going to be in the ring on September the 15th. They just haven't gotten the opportunity. But getting the opportunity to coach the fighters that are coming up because of these fighters in this sport, I think is important. The fact that we are two Mexicans leading the charges in one of the most important fights of the last couple of years, I think that I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud to be Mexican and to be representing Mexico and representing my fighter in this particular fight.
Tenemos a dos mexicanos en el ring y uno de los mejores, o un mexicano en el ring y los esquinas de mexicanos y peleadores que son de los mejores en los últimos años y yo creo que hay muchos entrenadores que son buenos que salen de México, más de los que van a ingresar al cuadrilátero, pero no han tenido la oportunidad de estar en grandes peleas. Pero para mí es un gran orgullo tener una esquina llena de mexicanos.
No, pues Chepo, es un orgullo estar envuelto en una pelea tan importante uno como mexicano y más que nada que desde abajo hemos estado trabajando con Saúl y pues eso nada más denota que el boxeo mexicano pues siempre va a dar de qué hablar en los niveles grandes.
It's a pride for me. It's going to be a big night for we Mexicans. And that's why we've been working hard with Canelo. And it's going to show that with Mexican boxing, there's always going to be something to talk about. It's always special.
Sí, la verdad es que es un honor de veras que gente como nosotros que venimos desde abajo con un muchachito que llegó al gimnasio desde 13, 14 años, pues estar ahora en la meca del boxeo mundial como es Las Vegas, en una pelea tan importante, yo creo que una pelea que va a ser historia. Entonces, pues da satisfacción, da gusto, pero sobre todo hacerle saber a la gente que es el resultado del trabajo, del esfuerzo y de la disciplina.
It's an honor for people like us to be part of an important fight like this, coming from the bottom, training a kid who came into the ring not knowing boxing at only 13 years old, and now he's fighting at the mecca of boxing in Las Vegas. So it's an honor, and we feel very proud, and it's satisfying to be involved in such an important fight, and we're going to show the results of all this hard work on September 15th.
Once again, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star then 1 on your touch-tone phone. And our next question comes from Dan Rafael from ESPN. Dan, your line is open.
Thank you very much. So my first question is for Abel. Hey, Abel.
Good morning.
Abel, if Triple G wins this fight, he will have recorded 21 middleweight title defenses, would break the record held by Bernard Hopkins. You've been his coach for those fights. I'm wondering just your perspective on the historical achievement he could accomplish in this fight.
Both G and I, Gennady and I, have a tremendous amount of respect for Bernard and for what he's accomplished and what he continues to accomplish in the sport. It would be an honor to be mentioned, for my fighter to be mentioned in the same breath with Bernard Hopkins. I think it's important to set goals and to set tables that we want to reach, and to reach this one, I thought would never be possible. I thought that it would never be possible for any fighter, and for me to be involved in that, or that possibility is mind-boggling.
One thing about that potential record, there are some who look at it and say, you know, even though Triple G's been a tremendous fighter for so many years, the reality is a handful of those defenses he made at the beginning were actually of the second-tier WBA belt before he got the full title. What's your point of view on those who say, well, even if he wins, it's not really the record because there was another WBA champion at the same time for the first, 4 or 5 of those defenses, or whatever the number was?
You know what? Everybody has an opinion. The one thing that I can say about Golovkin's career, he's never had a rematch with anybody. On that record that you're talking about, Bernard, he had rematches with Antoine Eccles and Robert Allen. So you can look at it in a way that those kind of counter each other, but we never fought a rematch, and not only did Golovkin break the record, or is going to break the record, he did it in a fashion that Bernard didn't. He did it with most knockouts. So I'm content. I'm content with the fact that he's going to break.
And Bernard also happened to have a no contest in there. I'd like Gabe, if you could translate for Eddie and Chepo.
Absolutely.
Could you ask? Well, either one of them or both of them can answer. If they have any additional, would they take additional satisfaction in a Canelo victory, knowing that they had stopped Triple G from breaking, a big record like that?
Sí, agarrarías mucha satisfacción al no nomás vencer a Golovkin por nocaut, sino romper el récord de Golovkin, o prevenir que Golovkin rompa el récord de Bernard Hopkins de 21 defensas consecutivas.
Nosotros estamos trabajando para ganar esa pelea, no estamos pensando en romper récord, ni nada, estamos pensando y trabajando para quitarle el invicto a Golovkin, y bueno, pues ya lo que viene después es el resultado de esa gran victoria, pero nuestro pensamiento está en el triunfo ese 15 de septiembre y quitarle y que baje Golovkin sin cinturones y sin invicto.
We are working to win this fight. We're not worried about breaking records or preventing people from breaking records. What we do want to do is make sure that we take away his undefeated record. Whatever comes for Canelo with his records, it's going to be the result of this fight. But we just have the win on our minds.
All right, very good. Did Eddie have any comment on that same question?
Si quiere contestar, Eddie, por favor.
Pues realmente lo que nos interesa nada más es ganar la pelea. Como ya lo dijo mi papá, es ganar la pelea. No nos interesa ni el récord de él ni nada. Lo que nos interesa es ganar la pelea, seguir caminando en el boxeo y estar listo para lo que venga después de ese gran triunfo que vamos a tener en septiembre.
What interests us right now is the fight, just as my father said. Not his record or our record. What really interests us is winning the fight and to keep forward in boxing. And we're going to be ready to show that on the day of the fight.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing everybody in Las Vegas.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from John Gatling from NewYorkFights.com. John, your line is open.
Thank you. Question for you, Abel, first. In assessing your fighter after 24 hard rounds with elite competition in 2017, did you nobody wants a scandal, but did you actually think the scandal and the resulting fight with Vance Martirosyan actually helped Golovkin, maybe ward off some attrition and everything else, give you a chance to really evaluate things again with respect to this rematch with Canelo?
No, I wouldn't say that it helped me evaluate anything. I think that the fight against Martirosyan was a fight that we wanted because this kid had been in camp. This kid had been training, and I think he deserved to at least to get in the ring with somebody to let that vent all those frustrations that he had from the Canelo fight not happening on the 5th. But the facts are that he did do 1.3 something, 1.4 on HBO. He did set a merchandising record at the event. He did set a gate record at the event. The gate record, all-time record at StubHub. So the fans wanted to see him fight. So the fact that Tom was able to put that together in 3 weeks, even though we were being blocked at every way, I think it was a tremendous effort by Tom, and the fans treated us for that. They came out.
Right. And my next question is for Eddie Reynoso. Canelo's been very vocal about wanting to knock Golovkin out from the opening round. You mentioned earlier that this is his first rematch fight. He's still getting acclimated to 160. You've had a chance to review things and study things. You just now called Golovkin a very basic fighter. You seem very confident. How confident are you that Canelo's going to go out here on the 15th and knock out Gennady Golovkin?
Obviamente, Canelo ha dicho muchas veces que va a salir a noquear a Golovkin. Y como has dicho antes, esta es su primera revancha. Se está acomodando a los 160 libras. ¿Qué tan confiado eres que va a salir a buscar ese knockout el Canelo? Y esta pregunta es para Eddie.
No, pues estamos confiados por el trabajo que se está haciendo. Estamos haciendo una gran preparación y tenemos todas las armas y los argumentos boxísticos para buscar el knockout desde el primer round.
Look, we're confident in our work, and we're having a great preparation. We have all the tools and the arguments to win a great fight and defeat him. Are we ready for the next question?
Our next question comes from Diego Martinez from Reformer, Mexico. Your line is open.
¿Cómo están, Eddie? Chepo primero. Un gusto primero. Eddie, Chepo, ¿qué vieron ustedes? ¿Qué han visto en este último año? ¿Qué han analizado? ¿Qué faltó que no hizo Canelo esa noche que pudiera ser el próximo 15 de septiembre? Fue muy buena defensiva de Canelo quitándose golpes. ¿Qué han visto? ¿Será una pelea muy similar o harán algunos cambios?
The question is for Eddie Chepo, and the question is, what have you seen within the last year that really stood out in that last fight that you could have corrected? Obviously, there was a lot of good defense, but what were some things that you could have fixed or done better for this next fight? Is it going to be a similar fight or something different? Adelante, por favor.
Bueno, yo creo que la primera pelea la he visto algunas veces y yo he visto que ganó Saúl, pero bueno, creo que hizo una gran defensa, enorme defensa, movimientos de cintura, todo, quitándose todos los golpes, hizo abanicar a Golovkin todos los golpes fuertes que tiró, le mojó la pólvora, como lo repito. Si acaso le faltó, si hablamos de que faltó algo, a lo mejor golpear un poquito más, para que no quedara lugar a dudas si la pelea se fue como se fue a decisión. Pero esperemos que en esta ocasión, bueno, las cosas van a ser diferentes y lo vamos a demostrar el 15 de septiembre.
After seeing I've seen the fight a few times, and I saw that Canelo won, and I think he showed a lot of great defense, enormous defense. He showed waist movement. He made him miss a lot. As I said previously, he put water in his gunpowder, which means that he neutralized him. If he needs something, maybe if you think he needed something in that fight, maybe he needed to throw a little bit more. Maybe he needed to land a few more punches to remove any doubts about the decision, and we hope that on this occasion things will be different.
Eddie, ¿qué opinas tú al respecto?
Pues creo que hicimos una muy buena pelea peleando, o sea, defensivamente fue una gran exhibición de Saúl. Nos faltó más combatividad, tirar más golpes, eso no es ningún secreto. Creo que ganamos la pelea ajustadamente, pero para ganarla más clara pues hay que tirar más golpes. Por alguna otra razón no lo hicimos, pero estamos preparando, como te digo, lo mejor que se puede. Hemos estado analizando los errores y esperamos que ese día todo salga bien para salir con la mano en alta y ganar la pelea más claramente. Gracias.
We did a good fight. I thought we did a good fight. We fought defensively. It was a great demonstration by Saul. Obviously, he needed to throw more punches. That's not a secret, even though I felt that we won the fight clearly. But to win it even more clearly, then he would have to throw more. And we've been analyzing the fight a lot, and we're going to work on that and hopefully walk away with the victory and demonstrate what we've learned on September 15th.
Our next question comes from Jerry Eisenberg, the Star Ledger. Jerry, your line is open.
Thank you. Guys, I have a very, very simple boxing question for you. We talk about great fights. All of the great fights I've seen, and all the great fights anybody's seen, has been because the styles come together in such a way that make it a great fight. I give you Ali Frazier in Manila, Hearns, Leonard in Vegas, and you know the fights. I don't have to tell you. So my question is this, because fighters go back to being who they are once they get hit. So my question is this, do these fighters each have a style which will make this a great fight because of their styles, or is that lacking and then it becomes a good fight? That's what
La pregunta para ambos entrenadores es, obviamente, para tener una gran pelea, los estilos se tienen que acomodar bien. Piensen ustedes como entrenadores que ambos peleadores tienen los estilos para hacer una gran pelea, o le faltan el estilo correcto para hacer una gran guerra. Abel, you first, please.
Jerry, good point. All those great fights that you mentioned, both combatants, both fighters, went out there to win the fight, not to survive 12 rounds. If Canelo comes out to try to win the fight, then I think we're going to have a classic. I think that could have been the first time, but he came out to survive the first fight and didn't really throw punches to try to win the fight. So yes, I think it's very possible if both fighters go back to what they did leading up to this fight.
La respuesta de Abel Sanchez, que sí puede ser una guerra y hay mucha posibilidad si ambos salen a hacer lo que siempre han hecho en sus carreras. En la última vez, Saúl no salió para ganar, salió para sobrevivir. Y si sale a ganar si sale a ganar, vamos a tener un gran combate, pero si sale a sobrevivir como hizo en su última pelea, no lo vamos a tener. Por favor, don Chepo, ¿vieron?
Bueno, quiero decirle que nosotros vamos a hacer no nosotros, sino Saúl va a hacer lo que le convenga a él, lo que le convenga, y él sabe plantarse en el centro del ring, sabe trabajar las cuerdas, ya lo demostró. Entonces, pues nosotros, yo creo que Abel se preocupe por preparar a su peleador y que nos deje a nosotros hacer nuestra parte y que no dé consejos. Yo creo que nosotros no estamos para recibir consejos, entonces vamos a preparar a Saúl bien para dar una gran pelea y salir con el brazo en alto.
The answer was, Canelo went out there to fight, and he showed what he can do in there. And Saul knows what to do in there. It's not going to be us, just doing things in the ring. It's Saul who's going to do what's convenient for him in the ring. And, he should worry about giving advice to his own fighter, and we'll give advice to our fighter, because we're not here to take advice from him. Eddie, ¿tú tienes respuesta?
Sí, ya lo que dice mi papá.
Okay. Eddie says the same thing that my father said.
Our next question comes from John Signorella from the Sports Byline. John, your line is open.
This question's for Canelo's team. On September 15th, it'll be 1 year since Canelo last fought. How much does this affect him? And has he had to spar more for this fight due to the lack of ring activity?
La pregunta es para el equipo de Canelo. Obviamente va a entrar al ring después de no pelear por un año. ¿Le va a afectar eso? Y ¿Ha tenido que hacer más sesiones de sparring para eso?
Pues realmente decir que no afecte la inactividad a un deportista sería mentir. A cualquier deportista, futbolista, beisbolista, boxeador, siempre no va a ser lo más recomendable estar inactivo. Pero nosotros confiamos en la juventud de Saúl, en que hemos estado trabajando siempre en el gimnasio, que Saúl es un peleador disciplinado que siempre está trabajando, entonces yo creo que ese no va a ser un factor en contra para nosotros.
Look, if I said that inactivity doesn't affect the fighter, I'd be lying. In any sport, whether you play baseball or football or whatever, inactivity is going to have an effect. But we're confident in Canelo's youth. And he's always working in the ring, he's always disciplined, and he always stays active, so his inactivity won't be a factor in this fight.
I have a question for Triple G's team. The body attack was absent in the first fight from Triple G. Do you guys plan on bringing that back and being more active to the body in this fight?
Well, first of all, the body attack was absent on both sides. Canelo's a very good body puncher and did not throw any body punch. Why? Because they're not at distance. When Canelo is running away and not exchanging or not being at distance, it's difficult to lunge and to reach for somebody that's not there. I'm not trying to give any advice to Canelo's team. What I'm saying is I'll answer this question with Jerry's question. In order to have a classic fight, both fighters have to fight the fight that they know how to fight. Not a fight to survive and not a fight to do what's best for you, but best for the fans. I think that we owe the fans that.
Understood, and thank you guys so much for your time.
Our next question comes from Sean Cross from Boxing Insider. Sean, your line is open.
Thanks so much. Thanks for taking my call, guys. Just curious, this one is for Abel. The judges were announced today, and obviously Team Golovkin was okay with those judges. But I'm just curious, are you still remiss to let this one go to the cards? Obviously, you'll take a knockout if you can get one, but do you believe it's imperative you need to get a knockout in order to win?
I don't think it's imperative. I think that the onus is on, and the microscope is going to be on judging. And I think that we have some judges that have shown to be very fair in the past. So if we win the fight, then we'll win it. If we lose it, then we lose it. But I think that a knockout will leave no doubt. I think a knockout on either side will stamp the greatness and a great legacy for the winner. Of course, we're going to try to knock him out, but in order to do that, there's got to be a willing participant on either side, a willing participant to give us the kind of classic fight where somebody gets hurt.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Our next question comes from Norm Frauenheim from 15 Rounds. Norm, your line is open.
Thanks. Abel, just a quick question on the last one. Given the controversy of the fight a year ago, what was the process of selecting the judges? Did they give you a number of names, or was it pretty straightforward? They just assigned the judges?
Well, Tom Loeffler is the one that deals with the direct talk with Mr. Bennett, the Nevada Commission.
Mm-hmm.
They had a pool of judges that they got together, and they were selected based on what they've done in the past and based on the Canelo side and our side being in agreement with them. But there's the same with the referees. There was a pool of them given to us, and we chose what we thought was in the best interest of the fight, of our sport. Hopefully they'll be fair, and the winner does win.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And speakers, we have no further questions at this time.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody. This will conclude the Q&A session. I'd just like to leave it as Abel. Would you like to make any final comments?
Yes, I'd like to thank everybody that was on. I'd like to thank the promoters and the Canelo team for their time. I hope that this fight lives up to all the talk, and we'll see them on the 15th.
Thank you, Abel. Chepo, any comments?
Si hay comentarios.
Gracias a todos los que estuvieron en esta conferencia, y la verdad es que el buceo te da la oportunidad de cobrar, poner las cuentas claras la vez pasada no hubo una claridad de ningún lado. Ahora esperemos que las cosas se pongan en su lugar y se demuestre quién es quién en las 160 libras y eso va a suceder el día 15 de septiembre. Muchas gracias a todos.
Thank you to all who participated in this conference call. The truth is, in boxing, only in boxing do you have the opportunity to make things very clear. And last time there might not have been some clarity, but for this fight, we're going to put things in their place and make things clear about who is the very best at 160 pounds. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chepo. Eddie, any final comments?
Muchas gracias a todos los que estuvieron aquí en la conferencia. Pues nada más pues decir que va a estar trabajando y seguir adelante en todo lo que viene siendo la promoción de la pelea y pues más que nada enfocarse realmente en el trabajo, en lo que es el boxeo y dejar pues todas las habladurías a un lado y ser serios, nada más y seguir adelante.
Thanks to all who joined. There's nothing more to say, but just to say that we will keep working and keep moving forward in the preparation and the fight as well. And our focus is on boxing. Nothing else. We're going to leave everything else to the side. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. This concludes our Canelo versus Triple G2 Trainers International Conference Call. Thank you all again for participating. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes today's conference. Thank you for your participation. You may now disconnect.